Relationships should be a safe place for all of us, where we can freely express our emotions. But when your partner has an avoidant nature, this journey becomes a little difficult. Avoidant partners are those who hesitate to openly express their emotions. It's not easy for them to put their pain, feelings, or fears into words. And when they create distance, you might feel as if they don't care, but in reality their emotions are just as deep as yours. Aristotle once said, "Educating the mind without educating the heart is no education at all." This means understanding a person's feelings and heart is just as important as understanding their thoughts. In the same way, learning to understand the emotions of an avoidant partner becomes a new form of education for a relationship. Avoidant partners often suppress their emotions because of childhood experiences, past traumas, or relationship fears. When they are pressured or forced, they withdraw even further. This is their protection mechanism. As psychologist John Bowlby said, attachment behavior is a way of achieving closeness. Avoidant individuals also desire closeness. Their way of seeking it is simply different. You may have felt at times that their silence hurts you, their distance confuses you, and sometimes it seems like the relationship may not survive. But as Rumi says, the wound is the place where the light enters you. Perhaps it is in this silence that a deeper connection between you and them can be found. Today we will talk about 4 realistic and emotional ways that can help you better manage the emotions of an avoidant partner. These steps will not only bring you closer to them, but will also make them feel that you are a safe and secure space for them. Please subscribe, like and share, and don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments. Your feedback and suggestions make this journey more meaningful and knowledgeable. Giving space in every relationship, closeness feels natural. We want our partner near us. We want to hear from them, to share every little detail of our day, and to feel reassured that they are emotionally present. But when your partner has an avoidant nature, this closeness sometimes feels overwhelming to them. Their instinct is to pull back, to create distance, not because they don't care, but because that space feels like safety. And here lies the real challenge for many people, understanding that giving space is not rejection, it is actually a hidden form of connection. The Greek philosopher Epictetus once said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." In the same way, relationships require us to understand more than we demand. Space is one of those silent languages of love that an avoidant partner uses. They may not say it directly, but their behavior often reflects the need for breathing room. When we try to chase them in those moments, sending too many messages, asking too many questions, or demanding instant emotional responses, we are not building closeness, we are building pressure. And pressure is the one thing that makes them shut down even further. Psychologist Carl Rogers beautifully explained, when someone really hears you without passing judgment, without trying to take responsibility for you, without trying to mold you, it feels damn good. The same truth applies here. When you allow an avoidant partner their safe distance, you are in fact communicating, "I trust you, I respect your rhythm, and I am here whenever you're ready." That trust, silently expressed through patience, is what gradually pulls them back toward you. The benefits of this approach are not abstract, they are deeply practical. When you give space, you are reducing conflict. Arguments that would have escalated because of pressure start to dissolve before they even begin. You are also creating emotional safety. Your partner begins to feel that they can be their authentic self without fear of judgment or suffocation. And most importantly, you are teaching your partner that your love is not conditional on their constant presence, but rather, it is strong enough to hold steady even in silence. This shift transforms the relationship from one of anxiety and pursuit into one of balance and trust. Rumi wrote, "Don't get lost in your pain. Know that one day your pain will become your cure." For avoidant partners, silence and distance may be their pain, but when respected, that very space becomes the cure. It becomes the bridge that allows them to come closer with more willingness and less fear. In giving them room, you are not losing them, you are in fact allowing them to return on their own, with more authenticity and emotional presence. So the next time your partner withdraws, remember, stepping back does not mean stepping away from love. Sometimes the deepest form of connection comes not by holding tighter, but by letting go, just enough for them to breathe and choose to come back to you. Soft communication. The foundation of relationships lies in words. Every word we use either strengthens the bond or weakens it. When your partner has an avoidant nature, the way you speak to them becomes even more important. They often hesitate to share their feelings, so if we speak harshly or in a demanding tone, they immediately retreat into themselves. This is the moment where softness and subtlety are needed the most. Lao Tzu once said, "Kindness in words creates confidence." This means that if the words we use carry kindness, they bring peace and trust to the other person. When an avoidant partner hears gentle and non-pressuring words, they feel that their boundaries are being respected. Such communication removes their need to become defensive. They don't feel attacked or judged, and slowly they begin to open up and feel ready to express themselves. Many times we make the mistake of demanding instant answers out of our own pain or confusion. We say things like, "Why don't you say anything?" or "I need an answer right now." These words close them off even more. The real key, however, is softness. As Maya Angelou said, "People will forget what you said, but they will never forget how you made them feel." When you use a gentle tone, the exact words may be forgotten, but the feeling you created always remains. The benefits of this approach are direct and practical. First, it creates a sense of safety within your partner. They begin to understand that you are here to understand them, not to judge them. Second, soft communication reduces unnecessary tension in the relationship. Those debates that could have started with an aggressive tone and turned into major conflicts never even begin. Third, this strategy gives your avoidant partner a real opportunity to open their heart. When they feel that someone is listening with patience and respect, vulnerability becomes less frightening for them. Fyodor Dostoevsky once wrote, "Much unhappiness has come into the world because of bewilderment and things left unsaid." With an avoidant partner, if we keep our words soft and clear, those unsaid things that often turn into hidden pain find a path to be spoken. And this very path doesn't break the relationship, it makes it stronger. In the end, it's important to understand that for an avoidant partner, words are like a set of keys. Every harsh word locks a door, and every gentle word opens one. When you choose softness, you unlock a new door for them, a door where they can speak from their heart, without fear, without burden. Managing your own emotions. The biggest mistake we often make in relationships, unknowingly, is that we lose control over our emotions. When an avoidant partner creates distance or becomes silent, we naturally feel anger, restlessness, and frustration. We start thinking that maybe they don't care, maybe they're ignoring us, but in reality, their silence is their defense, it's their way of handling their emotions. If at that moment we also lose patience, overreact, or blame them, we only make their fears even deeper. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This means that we are responsible for our own emotions and reactions, not for the actions of others. When an avoidant partner creates distance, that is the time we must preserve our inner calm. If we create noise and chaos, they will retreat even further. But if we maintain our calmness, it signals to them that we are emotionally stable. That stability becomes a source of comfort for them. Many times relationships break apart at the very moment when one partner's emotions become uncontrolled. Shouting, crying, accusing, none of these things solve anything in those moments. Instead, they make the problem more complicated. As Viktor Frankl said, "Between stimulus and response there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response." When you see your avoidant partner's silence or distance as a stimulus, instead of reacting immediately, if you calmly choose your response in that space, then rather than breaking the relationship, you actually make it stronger. The benefits of this approach are profound. First, it reduces unnecessary conflicts in the relationship. Your partner feels safer because they know you won't explode emotionally at their silence or distance. Second, when you control your emotions, you indirectly teach your partner to regulate their emotions in a healthier way too. It becomes a practical model. And third, calmness builds trust within your partner. They feel that you are an anchor, someone who stays stable even in the middle of their emotional storms. Nietzsche once said, "He who cannot command himself will always be a servant." In a relationship, The person who becomes a slave to their own emotions can never lead the relationship positively, but the one who maintains calmness becomes not only a safe space for themselves but also for their partner. In the end, the truth is simple: overreacting to an avoidant partner's silence or distance only deepens that gap. But when you control your emotions, that distance slowly begins to shrink. Love always flourishes between those who master their emotions and strive to understand one another. Building trust. The true essence of a relationship lies in trust. Love only becomes deeper when both partners are able to openly share their hearts and emotions with each other. But when your partner has an avoidant nature, trust becomes the hardest and the longest journey for them. They don't open their hearts immediately. They stay behind the wall of their fears. They feel that if they expose their emotions, they may get hurt. That's why with an avoidant partner, building trust is not the work of a single day. It is a process of taking small steps, slowly and steadily. Ralph Waldo Emerson once said, "Trust men and they will be true to you. Treat them greatly and they will show themselves great." Trust is like a gift. When you give it, the other person shows their true self. The same is true for an avoidant partner. If you celebrate their small efforts, like an honest word, a little moment of vulnerability, or them sharing even a small part of their emotions, and you don't ignore or belittle it, they begin to feel that they are safe with you. These small steps gradually build a solid foundation. Many people make the mistake here of wanting complete openness immediately. They expect that the avoidant partner should instantly share everything. But this pressure does not strengthen trust, it breaks it. Trust is like a seed, it grows only with time and consistency. Francis Fukuyama wrote, "Trust is the expectation that arises within a community of regular, honest and cooperative behavior." When you stay consistent with your avoidant partner, respecting their boundaries, showing stability in your words and actions, that is when the expectation of honesty and care begins to grow in them. The benefits of this approach are profound. First, the fear of the avoidant partner slowly decreases. They begin to feel that taking the risk of opening up will not hurt them because you are standing reliably by their side. Second, once trust is built, a new peace enters the relationship. Where every conversation once felt like a test, now each dialogue becomes a new connection. Third, and most importantly, trust creates a cycle. When you provide a safe space, they show their trust, and together you both build the relationship on a stronger foundation. Albert Schweitzer said, "Constant kindness can accomplish much. As the sun makes ice melt, kindness causes misunderstanding, mistrust and hostility to evaporate." This perfectly fits the case of avoidant partners. When you show consistency and kindness, their mistrust and fears slowly begin to melt away. In the end, building trust is a journey that is completed with patience, gentleness, and celebrating small steps. If you understand this journey, then your relationship with an avoidant partner will not only survive, but it will flourish, transforming into a bond that is both strong and peaceful. In the end, managing an avoidant partner's emotions is less about control and more about compassion. It is about shifting the way you see their distance, not as rejection, but as a form of self-protection. Their silence does not mean a lack of love. It is often the only language they know to keep themselves safe. When you learn to read that language with patience, the relationship begins to transform. Managing does not mean changing who they are, nor does it mean erasing their defenses overnight. It means responding with steadiness when their fears rise, offering kindness when they withdraw, and respecting their pace instead of demanding your own. This approach requires maturity, the willingness to see beyond your immediate need for reassurance and to trust in the slow unfolding of intimacy. What you are really managing is not their emotions, but the environment in which those emotions can safely exist. By creating calm instead of chaos, gentleness instead of pressure, and trust instead of fear, you give your partner the courage to bring their inner world into the light. Over time, the walls begin to soften, and the guarded heart learns it no longer needs to hide. As the poet Hafiz once wrote, "Even after all this time, the sun never says to the earth, 'You owe me.'" Look what happens with a love like that. It lights the whole sky. When you manage an avoidant partner's emotions with the same generosity, expecting less, giving more, you create not just a relationship that survives, but one that shines. And that is the real art of love, to hold space where another person feels free to be, and in that freedom finally dares to belong.